Bienvenue à Wrestle MSX. Je suis Michael.
Je suis Sally.
Asseyez-vous se détendre
Et profitez de notre critique de Clash à Paris.
Nailed it. We begin with the Sneaker Stealer against the OTC. Bronson Reed versus Roman Reigns. Reed sporting his trainer necklace, while Reigns wears two Ulafalas to the ring in honour of his uncle and father. So, after sizing each other up for about 2 minutes, we lock up, separate and do some pointing. We get back at it with Reed resisting Roman's shoulder tackles until Reigns goads Reed into shoulder tackling him. Reed accepts but runs into an uppercut.
Reigns lays the punches in, then tries to lift Big Reed, but to no avail, collapsing under him, with the fight then heading to the outside. Reigns is dropped on the announcer's desk, but Reed takes too long to follow up and gets thrown into the ring post multiple times. Reigns then cleared the announcer's table, but Reed came around, clotheslined Roman, then tossed him back into the ring for a world's strongest slam and a cover for 2.
Reed then took control, downing Reigns with an elbow as Reigns bounced off the ropes. A chin lock wasted some time, which Reigns fought out of, only to suffer a Samoan drop instantly and then get covered for 2. Reed then ground and pounds Reigns with forearms and headbutts, then attempted to remove Roman's footwear, only for Reigns to kick him off.
Roman took control again, sending Reed to the outside with a clothesline before hitting him with a drive-by and then throwing him into the ring post and the ring steps. Reed then sent back into the ring with Roman setting up for the Superman punch. Only as he's about to land it, Reed catches Reigns, slams him, Uranagi, senton's him and then covers again for 2.
Reed then sets up for a Death Valley driver, but Roman reverses it into a crucifix pin, which nets him a 2 count. Reigns then goes for the Superman punch again, but Reed again catches him, hits him with a Death Valley driver and covers for 2. The Superman punch sends Reed gaga as he's about to dive out the ring at Reigns. Reigns was on the outside, with Reigns then getting back in the ring, landing another Superman punch and covering for 2. I did think it was over at this point, but we carry on.
Reigns sets up for a spear, but Reed counters with a dropkick, sending Reigns to the outside. Reed follows up by diving to the outside, then throws Reigns back into the ring, with Reed going for a tsunami. Reigns rolls out the way, tries another spear and fails as Reed picks Roman up, hits him with a sit-down powerbomb and covers for yet another 2.
Reed looks for the tsunami again, but Reigns gets up. Samoan drops the big fella from the top rope, spears him and then covers for the 1, 2, 3. After the match, Reigns gets in the ring and asks Heyman for his shoes back. Heyman tries to curry favour with his former tribal chief, but gives the shoes back anyway. After which he's put in a guillotine and choked out. Reigns then gets on the announcer's desk, signs the trainers and then throws them into the crowd. But as he does, Bron Breakker appears on the announcer's desk next to him and spears him, with the table of course collapsing as the two crash down onto it.
Breakker did seem to catch himself on the left side of his body on landing. Maybe his elbow, I don't know, but when he did get up, he entered the ring and helped Reed escort Heyman up the rampway. Roman then made his way out, but Breakker hadn't done. Charged down the rampway and super speared Reigns. Reed then threw the OTC back into the ring, climbed the top rope and landed a tsunami. Backstages and Adam Pearce eventually came out, with Bronson then heading up the rampway.
Roman is then placed on a backboard by medical staff, only for Reed to head back to the ring, climb the top rope again and hit Reigns with another tsunami. Finally, Reigns gets help, with Jay getting in the ring and super kicking Bronson to the outside. Only Bron gets back in and spears Jay, while Reed lands yet another tsunami to Reigns.
After a few adverts, we come back and see Adam Pearce ejecting Bronson from the arena and threatening to suspend them without pay if they return. So, will that affect Seth's match later, and will Jay make it after being speared?
I mean, I'm surprised I made it. An hour in, and we've had one match. Woo! Next up, the Street Profits with B-Fab cosplaying Borderlands. No Buck Stallion though. If you know, then you know. They'll be taking on the Wyatt Six for the WWE Tag Team titles. Ford and Dawkins argue about who's going to start. I think we can see where this may be going. With Dawkins starting and getting the better of Gacy. Ford then blind tags Dawkins, which we missed because the camera was on Gacy, with Gacy also tagging out.
Ford bests Loomis with Gacy then getting in the ring, only to get double teamed by the Profits and sent packing. Loomis gets thrown back into the ring after going out and then knocks Ford from the apron, with Gacy tossing the Prophet back in. The Wyatts double team Ford with Loomis covering for 2. The Wyatts exchange multiple tags, keeping Ford from his corner, with Gacy covering again for 2 after another double team.
Ford finally tags his partner after hitting a suplex to Gacy on the apron, with Dawkins diving out the ring as his opponents before throwing Gacy back in and downing him with a corkscrew elbow. Dawkins then gets a 2 count after a spinning neckbreaker and swanton from the top rope. The Wyatts then hit another double team, this time to Dawkins, with Loomis covering for 2. Ford comes in and covers for 2 after yet another double team, the Profits, and then heads upstairs. Loomis knocks the rope, causing Ford to lose his footing, but Ford pushes him away, with Loomis tagging in Gacy, only for Gacy to suffer a super blockbuster and get covered for 2.
Gacy then throws Loomis onto Ford, who covers, with it being broken up by Dawkins, who throws Gacy onto the pinfall. We then head outside with Dawkins shoulder tackling Gacy and Loomis shoulder tackling Dawkins. Ford then comes flying over the turnbuckle to the outside, taking out Rowan and Loomis, before crotch chopping to Uncle Howdy and getting back into the ring.
Only he doesn't make it into the ring, as Cross grabs his leg from under the ring, allowing Howdy to assist Abigail Ford, all unbeknown to the referee of course. Loomis then throws Ford back into the ring and tags in Gacy, with the pair then hitting their double team move of a suplex into a sit-down powerbomb, which is now known as the Plague. I don't mind that. Gacy then covers and gets the victory for Team Wyatt.
The Women's Intercontinental title is on the line next as Becky Lynch defends against Nikki Bella. We end up outside the ring from the off, with Becky throwing Nikki into the ring steps and then back into the ring where she suffers a top rope leg drop and cover for 2. A Bexploder deals more damage with another 2 count cover following after a clothesline.
Another clothesline and Big Boot scored Becky another 2, with a slugfest then ensuing. Nikki wins out, sending Becky to the outside, slamming her head into both announcers' desk, and in my opinion this looks terrible. You could clearly see Lynch slapping her hands on the desk as if it was her head. Now, I know it's not actually happening, but when you slap in the desk and your head's here, it just looks ridiculous. Not quite sure you're the best, even according to that illustrated magazine that you keep banging on about. And that wasn't even the worst bit. The two then head back into the ring, where Nikki jumps from the middle rope and is supposed to land a kick to Lynch, only she misses by a mile, as Lynch, apparently the best in the world at what she does, wasn't in the correct position.
Becky does think about going down, but quickly realises if she does, she'll look like an absolute buffoon, so covers Bella for 2 instead. Lynch counters a Rack Attack 2.0 and covers for 2.0.
I like that.
A superplex nets Becky another 2 before she locks in an armbar, only for Nikki to counter into a cover for 2, and then another 2 after a takedown.
A fearless lock forces Becky to reach for the ropes to break the hold, with us then heading back to the outside. Bella smashes Becky's head into the ring post before hitting the Bella Buster on her onto the ring steps. Nikki tosses Lynch back into the ring, misses a Rack Attack 2.0 as Lynch escapes it, and then hits a manhandle slam. Lynch kicks out on the follow-up cover on 2.
Nikki locks in the disarm her, but Becky escapes, and with Nikki down, Lynch rolls over Bella's back and backslides her into a pinning position. Nikki can't kick out, with Lynch retaining her title. Wade Barrett at this point decides to call the pinning move the Lynch pin.
Which I do like. But this match I did not like.
No.
If you don't like us calling it out and saying as it is, then you are more than welcome to go and watch somebody else. But the slamming of Becky's head into the announcer's desk looked awful. And the missed kick from the middle rope by Bella also looked awful, but it wasn't Nikki's fault, it was Lynch's fault for not being in the right place. The only little bit of blame I'll put on Nikki is she didn't look. She climbed to the second rope and then she just launched herself. But even if she did know where Lynch was, she wouldn't have reached her because Lynch was too far away. But if they know what's coming, get in the right position. But this was a poor match.
Didn't really go.
It was the poorest of the night so far. Let's put it that way. Anyway, let's move on. We see Jay backstage nursing an injury when Adam Pearce rolls up. Pearce asks Jay if he's good to go, with Jay saying he is and yeeting.
Next up, Rusev versus Sheamus in a good old-fashioned Donnybrook match. After attacking each other, we go outside with both setting up tables, and then go back in the ring where Rusev attacks Sheamus with a kendo stick and beats him like a certain Irish drum on the ropes. Sheamus then uses the kendo stick on Rusev, only for Rusev to fire back with a spinning heel kick and cover for 2.
4 chair shots leave Sheamus down, with Rusev then placing the chair between the middle and top turnbuckle. Rusev goes for a 5th chair shot, but Sheamus catches him with a knee and covers for 2. After Rusev suffers beats of the Bahrain, we go outside and see more from Sheamus before Rusev escapes over the crowd barrier. Sheamus catches him and delivers more beats, but this time with his shillelagh.
We head back into the ring where Rusev charges into the chair he'd set up between the ropes, with Sheamus then following up with a Celtic cross and cover. Unbelievably, Rusev kicks out on 2. Sheamus then jumps from the top rope to the outside, but Rusev catches him with a kendo stick before throwing him into the ring steps. Rusev then rock bottoms Sheamus through the ringside bar before going back to the ring.
Rusev locks in the accolade, but Sheamus powers out and then drops Rusev onto the chairs that are in the ring. Back outside we go, with the pair climbing a stack of barrels, and then watch as Sheamus powers out of another accolade and hits white noise from atop said barrels. The pair crash through the tables below the barrels and back into the ring.
Rusev looks to use a shillelagh, but Sheamus catches him with a bro kick and covers for 2, as Rusev kicks out. Rusev breaks the shillelagh across the back of Sheamus and covers for yet another 2, as this match is now dragging on and on.
Way too long.
Another accolade is locked in, with Rusev also utilising a broken shillelagh. Sheamus falls back onto Rusev, but Rusev keeps the hold locked in, with Sheamus then eventually tapping out.
Yeah, as I've just said, way too long. I don't know what's going on tonight. They don't need to be this long.
No.
Absolutely ridiculous. The whole thing, the whole PLE was longer, I think, than Mania. Like one of the nights.
Yes,
It's only PLE. It's only it's like a B show.
It's just it's only Clash.
Come on.
Yeah.
Anyway, Logan Paul versus John Cena. Lock up, clean break, and a test of strength start us off, with Paul then taking the lead, so to speak, by dropping Cena with 2 uppercuts. Cena fights back with a clothesline, only for Paul to get a 2 count cover off a big boot. Paul gets another 2, and he'll get many more after a delayed suplex, another after a gut-wrench powerbomb, and another after a forearm uppercut.
A collision in the middle of the ring downs both men, with Cena rising first and shoulder tackling Paul. Of course, we see the 5-knuckle shuffle and then attempted AA, but Paul escapes. A 2 count cover from Paul is followed by a splash from the top rope, only for Cena to get his knees up. AA Paul and cover for 2. Paul then gets locked into the STF after Cena escaped a cover by Paul, with Paul making it to the ropes.
A tornado DDT from Cena, yeah, I know, gets him a 2, with Paul then getting a 2 after reversing an AA into an overbomb. A zigzag gets Paul another 2, with Cena then getting 2 off a flatliner. This is turning into a do a move and I'm going to cover you kind of contest, which to be honest has been all the matches so far tonight, and it's getting a little boring. A swanton and standing moonsault then net Paul, you guessed it, another 2.
Paul misses an uppercut in the corner, with Cena then planting Paul with a double underhook face plant and covering for 2. Paul's nose is also busted open at this point. We get a yeah boot off, another cover by Paul after an uppercut, and then shoulder tackle and a near 5-knuckle shuffle from the Maverick. Cena gets up before Paul can land it and hits him with an AA. Cover 2.
A code red gets Cena a 2. A right hand gets Paul a 2, and I really am losing the will as this is going on for far too long. Paul lands 2 frog splashes, which is apparently now called the pull from grace, and covers again for 2. Paul does finally land a 5-knuckle shuffle and attempts an AA, but Cena reverses into a Styles Clash and covers for 2.
Cena rolls through a crossbody from Paul from the top rope, hits 2 AAs and covers for 1, 2, 3.
Nice.
Finally, this match is over.
Too many kickouts, doesn't need it. Don't get me wrong, they're fantastic athletes.
Yeah.
Cena, now a 72-year-old man, he's done really well. Paul, as we've said, athletic ability, incredible.
Yeah.
Should be there, but that's not the point.
The moves that Cena doesn't usually do.
Yeah,
Lovely.
well, yeah. But why so many kickouts? No need, but it's boring. Because, then he's getting tired. It's no... Oh, anyway. Backstage, Jackie Redmond tells Seth that he'll be alone tonight, with Seth replying that he's 2 steps ahead. He goes on to say he doesn't need the Vision and never needed them. He also states that if he can't keep the title by himself, then maybe he doesn't deserve to be champion. We also learn that Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman are at the hospital. I wonder if they're in cahoots, going to get back together.
Oh, yeah. So, last match of the night for the World Heavyweight Championship. Jey Uso, bandaged, versus Le Knight, because we're in France,
Oui.
versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins in a fatal 4-way. Punk catches Jey with a super kick, payback from Raw. Seth exits the ring and Le Knight rolls up Punk for a 1 count.
Let's try.
Punk and Knight then exchange blows, with Rollins coming back in and attacking Punk.
Jey then crossbodies Seth and gets a 1 count, with Punk then levelling Jey. Jey and Knight then take turns in hitting Seth, with a pair then turning on each other after Seth is driven from the ring. This doesn't last long as Seth comes back and manages an attack on everyone until they all gang up on the Visionary and decide to put him through a table, with Punk audibly telling Jey to get the tables.
As they set up, Jey super kicks Punk and Knight, with Jey and Rollins then fighting off into the crowd. Knight joins the pair, with Punk then taking out Knight and Seth from the crowd barrier. Punk and Seth head to the ring, where Seth suffers a swinging neckbreaker, running knee and attempted GTS, as Jey comes back and super kicks Punk. Knight then joins the rest in the ring, with Seth delivering a pedigree to Punk and covering for 2.
A buckle bomb tonight gets Seth another 2 count, with Rollins then frog splashing Jey for another 2. Seth then trash talks Knight, but Knight gets the best of him with a Russian leg sweep, then drops Jey with a neck breaker and slam to Punk. Seth then eats an elbow from the top rope after taking a DDT, with Knight looking for a BFT. This is thwarted by a super kick from Jey, with us then witnessing the triple corner move known as the Tower of Doom, with Knight superplexing Jey while Punk powerbombs Knight.
Punk follows up with a cover to Knight for 2, and then Jey for another 2. Punk and Seth then fight on the apron, with Seth raking his eyes and going back in the ring. Knight sees the opportunity and knocks Punk from the apron and through the table on the outside, before BFTing Seth and covering for 2, but only because Jey made the save.
Jey and Knight then exchange blows and end up outside the ring, with Knight slamming Jey's head into the announcer's desk multiple times, followed by Seth also eating desk, courtesy of Knight. Knight then sets Seth on the table, climbs the turnbuckle and leaps. Seth rolls out of the way, with Knight crushing through the announcer's desk alone. Jey then misses a top rope move to Seth back in the ring, with Seth countering a spear into a pedigree and covering for 2. And he did catch him right with a spear, and it did look very good. Very good.
2 super kicks, a spear and Uso splash to Seth after Rollins missed a Phoenix splash got Jey 2, but only because Punk broke the cover with his own elbow drop from the top rope.
And can I just say that the timing from Punk of the elbow drop to break the cover was spot on.
Yeah.
He didn't jump on 2 like a lot of wrestlers do. Oh, I can get down back to the mat in a second. He leapt at about 1.
Yeah.
So then as the ref's coming down for 3, he's
Bang
hit
on.
and he's broke the cover. You leap on 1, you don't leap on... Any wrestlers, leap on 1, not 2. Because then you're making it look rubbish on the wrestlers and the ref that you're trying to break it up. Leap on 1.
Punk hits the GTS to Jay, but while in cover, Rollins stomps him and covers. Punk kicks out on 2. Seth then dishes out stomps to Jay and Knight, who are both on the outside, and attempts to stomp Punk back in the ring with a chair round his neck.
Punk escapes the attempted murder, with Seth seemingly injuring his knee, and Punk following up with a GTS. Punk drops to his knees, Seth bounces off the ropes and back onto Punk's shoulders. I think I've seen that before. Punk shouts GTS, but then gets low blowed from behind, with the assailant then revealing themselves to be none other than Becky Lynch. Seth then stops Punk onto a chair, covers and retains the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, this match was about 30 minutes long and you got 4 guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first match with Reigns and Reed,
Went
I
on
know
forever.
there was, even without the last bit, it was about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I thought I don't know, I think it ran for just under 4 hours, 3 hours 40,
Yeah.
3 hours. It just felt long.
It did.
And I was
which
getting a bit
ruined
bored.
that last match for me. The last match was good, but because it was going on for so long in the other matches,
And it drained you.
exactly. Then I was just like, oh, for this one.
See, that was the good thing about the old days when you knew there was a match on that was just drivel.
Yeah.
It was the break match. It was I'm going to the toilet match, and you could have that break for a few minutes. But because all the matches are good,
They're usually good.
you watch them.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, if you want to disagree, that's fine. But it just went on too long. Didn't it?
Which made it
didn't need it.
then boring.
Yes, it does get boring if it just goes on and on.
Yeah.
Like us, if it goes on and on and on, it just gets boring.
With 802 counts.
Oh yeah, in the Cena and Paul match. Yeah. Just lie there, just take the 3 and be done with it.
Just have a nice little 10-minute match. It's fine.
It all 15 minutes, but
Yeah.
they just all seem to go on. And there'll be other people who say this is amazing.
That's
Best PLE ever.
Each
Somebody's
their
going
own.
somebody's going to say that.
of course.
But our opinion, and we don't really go, we don't say, oh, shall we say this, shall we say that? We do have our own opinions, and if Sally wants to say it was the best one I've ever seen, or I want to say it's the worst one I've ever seen, then that's between us. But we both sort of said,
It's a bit
yeah,
pants.
this, right, it was the
Just,
duration,
yeah,
it was
just
the
long,
duration.
just
It
long,
didn't
which
need-
then made it boring.
Yes.
A few moments later.
Look, if you disagree, which you are more than welcome to, please feel free to do so. But if you have stuck with us, thank you very much for watching.
And hopefully we'll see you Tuesday for Raw.